This is Crenshaw, Briggs, and VT. We want the touchdown. We not trying to go for 3. And it's best if you get up out the street, because them bulls out the pen and they about to stampede.
Well, let's stay quarterback-wise, and there's some rumors, Matt, of San Francisco trading off Trey Lance. A lot of Texans fans want this to happen. A lot of us don't.
No, God!
So what's your opinion on this whole thing about Trey Lance?
So I'm going to confess something to you guys. You probably can't see it, but right here above me is a Steve Young photo. My son got it for me yesterday.
Okay.
I grew up a Niners fan in Missouri, lifelong Niners fan. I was 5 years old watching Jerry Rice beat the Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl. So I grew up a Niners fan, and I feel like my first job writing about football was covering the Niners. So I feel like I know that franchise better than I know any other team in the NFL. And I'll say this:
Were you pretty upset when D'Amico came to Houston then?
No, I was happy for him. Like, I think that's the other, like, you're just happy for those guys, for Rand Carthon to go to the Titans as a GM, to see all those guys over the years move on and get opportunities. You're just super happy for him. And I think it's become cool that, when I was growing up in the late 80s, early 90s, the Niners were a pipeline team. It was like offensive coordinator got hired every year, defense coordinator got hired away every year. And it really was, there was a tree of Niner guys. And I think we're starting to see that again. So I'm happy for Miko. But I will say on the Trey Lance stuff, guys, he's 22 years old. He's played 9 football games in 3 years. He played 1 game his last year at North Dakota State. It was just like a showcase game during the weird COVID stuff that was going on. It was actually the worst game he ever played in college. Only time he threw an interception in college was that game. Goes to San Francisco. Doesn't play much as a rookie, gets a starting job year 2, as you guys know, boom, gets hurt. Replaced by Jimmy Garoppolo, Niners go on a run. Jimmy gets hurt, gets replaced by Brock Purdy. They go to the NFC Championship game. I would be very skeptical of trading for Trey Lance given what we've seen. And I think at some point you have to wonder, this dude has barely played football in the last 3 years. In the last 4 years, he's thrown 300 competitive passes. So I have some big issues with the idea that not only is he coming off a season-ending injury, he's barely played football, and you're going to ask him to start over with a new franchise. Now, obviously, similar offense because Bobby coming to Houston as the offensive coordinator, so there's going to be some continuity involved there. But I just don't know how, again, I don't know how you can pass on a quarterback at 2, 12, and 33 and say, oh, no, it's cool, we got Trey Lance. We haven't seen Trey play football. And so I think that's the hard part for me is you're going to look at this quarterback class and say, CJ Stroud's not good enough for us. Anthony Richardson's not. Will Levis is not. Hendon Hooker's not. But Trey Lance is when he's coming off the injury, hasn't been able to stay healthy. So I think that is the logic side for me is really hard. I would love for Trey to get an opportunity. I think also one thing we have to remember right now is sure the 49ers signed Sam Darnold. But Brock Purdy's coming off a UCL surgery that was delayed for months because of the swelling. And he said in an interview this week, he doesn't know if he'll play in 2023. So I don't know how you could be in a hurry to trade Trey Lance if you're the 49ers when you might need him this year. It's not like Sam Darnold has been, the picture of great quarterback play, whether it was with the Jets or Panthers. So if I'm John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, I think I'm holding on to a very inexpensive Trey Lance for as long as I have to make sure that Brock Purdy is healthy and ready to go.
Most definitely. BT, I know you've been ranting and raving all day, so I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, I think honestly, fans that want Trey Lance are basically saying, hey, we need a quarterback, and the rumors lately that we're skipping on one has made everyone say just get one. And I understand it because who wants to sit through another year of what we saw last year? But Trey Lance isn't the answer. And Matt, you obviously just killed it right there with your answer. There's no way in hell that I want to trade for Trey Lance for every reason that you said. In addition, I just think that the rumors that we're not going to get a quarterback at the second overall pick are vastly overblown. And secondly, the whole thing is that if Lance was worth trading, why would we even pay what he should be worth? He went for 3 first-round picks.
Yeah.
If he's not going to go for at least a first then why would he be worth it? San Fran has to try to recoup something for him. He's on a rookie deal too, right? So he's on a rookie deal, and they spent the draft capital for him. If he's going to go for something where we feel comfortable trading for him, I don't want him. It's almost like I don't want to be a member of a group for that would have me. Yeah, if they're going to get rid of him, I don't want him. So for me, Trey Lance is definitely not an option. I say, in my opinion, all of those rumors should be put to rest. If Carolina goes Bryce, we go CJ. And then for the whole thing of Trey Lance's, I honestly don't think he's going to leave. You're right. You were just mentioning Brock Purdy's injury. I think they also learned that they need multiple quarterbacks because you get hurt. And with all the situation with Brock Purdy, and obviously they can't trust Sam Darnold, that he has got to be there even just as a backup. The only way I see him leaving is if there's a mid-season injury and someone's willing to cough up at least a first-round pick and more for him, because they have a playoff shot and they think that that's their best shot. That I can see something before the trade deadline, kind of an emergency desperation situation. As much as people think that we're in a desperate situation, we're not. So no to Trey Lance. Hell no to Trey Lance. Please let's stop this BS.
Crenshaw, what about you?
Trey, Aubrey, Lance. No, I don't want him here. It doesn't make sense for San Francisco to trade him. I think this maybe is giving him a push. Like, hey, guy, we dealt the first 2 seasons of your injury. You need to be healthy because we traded a lot to get you. We want you to be our future. Texans fans, they be all over the place every day. Trey Lance. Last month it was, back in March it was Jimmy Garoppolo. They don't know who they want. It just every day is something new. But I think we need to just draft a quarterback. I'm hoping it's Bryce, but if it's not Bryce, I'm fine with CJ. And put him in our system. He's going to be cheap. I know Trey is cheap, but the rookie quarterback will be cheaper and longer as well. Let me ask you a question, Mr. Miller. Do you think it was too much they gave up to trade up for him, or you think that was about right?
For Carolina or San Francisco?
No, for San Francisco to trade up for Trey Lance at the time.
I thought it was too much to get to number 3, but obviously the Jags and Jets didn't want to trade, so it was like you're getting as high as you can. 3 firsts and a 4th is that I think what they ended up giving up. That is a lot. That is so much. So I mean, if you guys are talking about not taking a quarterback at 2 and someone potentially trading up, I think that's the haul you ask for. It's okay. We want the Trey Lance deal. And that's where this conversation starts, depending on who it is. I've heard rumors that Indianapolis might try to come up to 2. I know usually you would say you don't do an interdivision trade, especially for a quarterback, but crazier things have happened in the NFL. So I think it depends on how far you're going to go back is definitely part of it. I think San Francisco went from 12 to 3, so it was a little more expensive. We saw Carolina go from 9 to 1. It was about the same cost and DJ Moore. So when a quarterback's involved, those prices just shoot through the roof.
Okay, if he stays healthy, how do you see his NFL future?
Yeah, I liked him coming out. I had him as my number 4 quarterback that year. I had Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and then I had Zach Wilson and Trey Lance basically tied together. So he was so inexperienced coming out of college. It was really like 1 year in a really like a pro style run heavy system. So he hadn't thrown the ball a ton. So I liked the athletic upside. It's funny to me, Anthony Richardson is like a bigger Trey Lance. He's a dude who hasn't played a ton of football. He's a little more advanced as a runner than he is a passer right now. I think Anthony is a faster processor. Trey, there were a lot of times like the trigger was so slow. He needed to see things faster. I don't think Trey was asked to do a lot of full field stuff. Anthony was. So, but I think similarities in terms of they're both great athletes, big arms, and very inexperienced. So you got to figure out there's these conversations of, do you sit that guy because he needs to learn, or do you throw him out there like a Josh Allen, like a Jalen Hurts, and say, hey, no, you need to go play. That's the only way you're going to get better. Justin Fields was kind of a similar situation too. So I think those arguments get fun depending on where they're going to land. But I think with Trey right now, like I wouldn't trade a first round pick for Trey Lance. If that's what San Francisco thinks they're going to get back, that's way too expensive in my opinion.
You not really in touch if you not tuning in. This is Crenshaw, Briggs, and VT. We want the touchdown. We not trying to go for 3. And it's best if you get up out the street, cause them bulls out the pen and they about to stampede.